Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Surviving US podcast. Kind of mixed that up there, but we're just going to go roll with it. So, when was the last time you, listener, got to have a reunion with all your original UX buds? If that sounds like a lot of fun that you never get to do, at least come along with me and Jessamyn while we hang out with our UX buds. I am Meg Kramer, and Jessamyn, I want to tell you a bit about my reunion this weekend. But
Ooh.
first, let me hear what's the latest with you.
Well, I've survived another week of commuting, and
Wow.
this time I went up with my son and my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically had my almost my entire family with me. And it was a decent week. The power did go out in our building again in the
At
middle of
work?
some important meetings. Yes, that's the second time that's
So
happened.
you have power at home where they're not letting you work, and then you go to the office where you have no power? Is that
Yeah,
what I'm
and
hearing? Would that be
immediately what
accurate?
happens is everyone goes on Slack on their phones and starts saying like, is power out in your building? Is power out in my building? Because it affected two buildings.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this time, however, I knew not to get in the elevators because people had gotten stuck last time for an hour
Oh.
and a half in the elevators
Oh.
and basically been traumatized because apparently the little call button didn't work so well and just went to somebody somewhere. And it took quite a bit of effort for them to actually get people into the building and then free the people out of the elevator that were trapped. And I
So
thought if that
yeah.
were me, I would absolutely wet my pants within like the first 8 minutes.
I was in an elevator this weekend and I had just picked up some food. And I literally was like, if this elevator breaks, at least I'll just sit down and eat. At
And eat
least I
this
grabbed a
food.
fork so I don't have to eat it with my hands.
Never get into an elevator with a full bladder
Yeah,
or,
or no
yeah,
food.
empty water bottle.
And
Yes.
the building I was in, by the way, was only 3 stories. So uh,
Oh, nice. I
I
like it.
was even taking the elevator for pure luxury.
All right. Well, it sounds like you had a reunion this
I
weekend.
did. I got to leave town and go up to Portland. And it turned out that the event I was going to turned into kind of a little mini grad school reunion.
Aw,
And it had kind of been a whole decade. So it was kind of like a 10-year reunion, which is
that's awesome.
crazy because
Yeah.
you don't think of yourself as like so old to have had even a
Mm-hmm.
10-year reunion from high school, let alone a 10-year
Mm-hmm.
reunion from grad school.
Yeah.
But it was actually a lot more fun. Maybe not more fun, but it was a lot of fun.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
more so than I had thought, to kind of like see where people are now. And I guess I had kind of had like, you know, the television and movies about reunions, you get a little like
Mm-hmm.
apprehensive, but it was
Oh,
it
yeah.
was nice to see people and nice to see
Oh,
like like where you are now.
right.
And it kind of makes me wonder, like, is it the time? Is it the fact that you haven't seen these people in a long time that
Yeah.
that really makes like that moment special? So should I not see them for another 10 years? Would that,
Oh,
or should we get some of them on the podcast? So, we will
absolutely.
we will see. But it
Let's
ended
do
up
it.
being quite a delight to have the gang back together, essentially.
Oh, very cool. What job was it that, or they were all from school? They
They
were
were
all
all
from
from
school.
grad school, yeah. But when you say what job was it, that I thought you were going to ask, like, what job did you have at the event? And I will just paint a picture, which was the day before the wedding. I was sitting at a table. I was zesting lemons.
Oh,
My friend, who was also the officiant, was slicing cheese, and our third friend from grad school was soldering the DIY photo booth.
oh my
So
gosh. That's
uh,
cool. Everybody had a job.
everyone had a job. Everyone had a job.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
This person's probably a manager.
Uh, the people getting married.
Yes.
That's a good question. Actually, they might be. Yeah.
Sounds like they know how to delegate. I like it. So, hey guys, so today we have a really special guest. She is a product designer at Artera, formerly known as Well Health, and she was previously a UX designer at Appfolio and also interned at none other than Tracker. Santa Barbara's favorite startup. She spoke
Is it?
at you. I think so.
All right.
I
All
mean,
right. I want to hear more about that.
oh, yes. She spoke at UXPA Austin this summer about redesigning the design studio, new format, better outcomes. And she's also involved in the San Diego Experience Design Meetup community and recently worked on a transit advocacy nonprofit project with that meetup group. Welcome to the podcast, Brianna Koch.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, thank you for
Welcome.
joining us, Brianna.
I'm really excited to
So,
be here.
yay. How was your week, Brianna?
My week has been good. I feel like my week is always chaotic. And I think when that's like my norm, I can't really use that word to like describe it anymore. But I feel like your work weeks are probably the same, right?
I feel like I have really heavy days and then really like mysteriously light days, and they make me nervous, but I am glad that I have them.
They used to make me nervous too. And I think when I was like earlier in my career, I would overcompensate. Like whenever I wasn't doing something, I would get really self-conscious and then I would look for like other projects to
Mm-hmm.
fill that time. And then of course, like the
Look
regular work you
busy.
need to do picks up again. Yeah, you got to look busy, especially when I was in an office. Now I'm remote, nobody knows. But when I was
Mm-hmm.
in the office, I'd pick up this other stuff to like look really busy. And then my regular work would pick up, and then I'd have to like drop all these other things that I like picked up that I didn't really need to be doing that
Yeah.
I picked up because I was self-conscious. And so I've learned to stop doing that
No,
because it
That's a
always
great
picks back
lesson.
up.
yes, very true. I'm kind of in that moment right now, to be honest with you. And I'm like, well, these other projects, they look good. They're 6 months old and kind of crusty, but maybe I'll pick these up again. And I'm like, I know that I'm going to walk into work next week and someone's going to say, okay, here's the plan. And I'll be like, oh, great. I'll have to throw it all away. Oh, well. But Brianna, tell us, you work fully remote right now. So what is that like? I mean, the luxury, I'm just so jealous. Are you still loving remote work, or are you missing in person at all?
I it's interesting because my like working in person, I kind of like look fondly back at that time, but like if I were to go
Mhm.
back in person, it wouldn't be with the same people. So it's like hard to know,
Mm,
like, do I miss
yeah.
in person or do I miss that time in my life with those people? And it would never be the same. I really do like working remotely, which of course no one did in the very beginning, or maybe we did to some extent, but it was, there was so
Hmm.
much
It
stress
wasn't
when we
common.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we started working remotely because we weren't used to it and there was a global pandemic. Now that I guess I wouldn't say that the world is normal, but now that I can go out and do things after work and like see friends at least, like I'm not feeling so isolated or disconnected that like I really like the flexibility of work from home. I like that we
Hmm.
have tools to keep me connected with my team and I do feel really connected to the people that I work with, but then
Mhm.
it's just so nice not having a commute because San Diego traffic, it was the worst. I don't miss
Mm,
that.
yeah,
So
for sure.
how have you been able to make like those strong connections just remotely? Because if you started this job when you were remote and then stayed remote, what do you think is the trick?
Trick to the strong connections. I think that I definitely do prioritize time with the people that I work with on doing things that aren't work. And people, I know some people inherently see the value in that and some people don't or like think it's silly, but I do make my teams do a lot of things like uh, when I joined this team, for example, my product development team, at the end of stand up, they would just end the meeting. And,
Yeah.
I would only see these people for like 15 minutes and then promptly the person who ran the meeting would just end it. And so in a meeting,
Yeah.
I had to be like, hey, what if we stayed on like a little bit after the meeting just to chat? And
Aw.
like that kind of evolved into our Scrum Master having a question of the day for everyone. And that's become like a lot of fun. And that really evolved because now people like pitch that person like a question of the day. We just had a team Rubik's Cube solving competition. And then I think we're always just like slacking him like different, things that we want to know about each other. We've done like house tours, for example. Um,
Oh.
so that was like how I built kind of community, just honestly, just making us have dedicated time to like be around each other and not talking about work. On the
Oh my
design
gosh.
team, I think it was a little bit easier. And I think that's just been my experience working with UX designers or product designers is that we're usually like lovey-dovey, bondy type. And so we do already, are gravitated to like learning about each other, getting to know each other and like talking. But we do the same thing like I think every other week actually. It sounds more fun, or it is more fun than it sounds. We have a meeting called Forced Fun.
Oh my gosh.
And we're leaning into the joke of it. We're not being forced to have fun, but we do have like we're forcing that we have to do it during this time. We'll all do like a bunch of like silly things. I think that group wants to do house tours
That
soon.
is really fun.
We've done
Like
pet
house
rock
tour,
competitions.
you just walk around the house with your camera and show where you live.
Yeah. And not everyone would want to do that, right? I don't think everyone needs to share their house or feels comfortable, but everyone that I've worked with like is really excited to show these people that we really only know virtually, like where we are and like what life looks like for us.
Do you think you would clean up before you did that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I think the first one, I don't think if I remember correctly, I don't know if I was prepared the first time. So I would have loved to. And I don't think I did, but
oh, wait, hold up. You're just saying that they were like, hey, Brianna, we want to see your house. And then you immediately had to walk it around the camera?
I think I said we should do house tours. And maybe I didn't realize it was going to happen as soon as it did.
They're like, you first.
Yeah. Since you suggested it, of course your house
and you're like,
must be completely ready to go.
Never mind this laundry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Do you have a work best friend or a work bestie?
I do have a work bestie. I was already looking, I was looking to change jobs like the year that I did change jobs, but that person I had worked with at my previous company. And we knew we'd meet every, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or a month or so, and always like chat about where we were and like looking for a job. And they actually took the job at now Arterra, then Well Health First. And as soon as they told me that they took this job and like told me a little bit about it, I was like, I'm going with you. I just want to work like a shore. I want to work with my friends. And it was the best decision that I've ever made because it's really nice going into a workplace where you know somebody. And we're still as close as ever. Probably I'm closer now, right? But it really made the transition so much more fun and so much easier.
It didn't ruin the friendship.
No, God, no.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about your meetup events and stuff in San Diego. Like recently you participated in like a transit heuristic evaluation. Like, I guess it was what would you call it? Like a pro bono kind of a project. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, I spoke at UXPA Austin this year. And in preparation for that, I reached out to one of the like on like meetup.com, like one of the local like professional like UX organizations for San Diego. And I practiced my talk with them. And I want to plug SDXD because they're really organized and really awesome. And if you ever have a talk that you want to rehearse, it's San Diego based, but they do a lot of like remote events too. They actually have a lot of people all over the country and I think around the world that go to these like hybrid events or they're all virtual events. So I want to plug them in case you need to, present or practice a talk. And anyway, so while I was preparing with them and kind of doing a run through of my talk, I mentioned I had a deadline for that meeting because I needed to catch a bus. And that kind of spiraled into a conversation with them about how, I don't want to feel bad like knocking it, but how pretty terrible the usability of like the sign up flow for our transit app is in San Diego.
Yeah.
And I also mentioned to that group that my boyfriend had this, like the past year, like probably 6 months before we had met, started a transit advocacy nonprofit in San Diego, which hilariously had really started from a tweet that he posted about the sign up flow for our transit app being 191 clicks versus I think 13 clicks to sign up for an Uber.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is wild. How is that possible?
Lot. It's really bad. Like we'll be with people like at a baseball game, for example, like we should catch the bus home because getting an Uber after a game is really expensive and really competitive. And we, didn't end up taking the bus because they couldn't sign up in time because it's abysmal. It's hard. And it really prevents, I think, ridership of people that might be, transit curious or might be interested if it's easy, but are certainly not going to click 191 times to write it.
So there's no other option. You have to sign up in this app. There's no cash or like option to just like get on the bus that day.
You can pay cash and you can pay, I think you can like buy a card from a kiosk, but you might not be in an area where there is a
Where
kiosk,
there's
or
a
I think
kiosk.
probably like a
Right.
7-Eleven. This is a little separate from my work, but I will kind of also plug Ride SD, because one of the great things they advocated for in San Diego's MTS board just passed is they're going to support Apple Pay and Tap to Pay
Oh, that's
as
nice.
part of. So I guess I'm just plugging advocacy works in your community if there's something you want to push for.
Well, that's
But
great that it sounds like actual change happened. That's
actual
crazy.
change happens
Good
if
for
you
you.
connect with the right people
Yeah.
and kind of like tell that story. But even though we're going to have like these great tap to pay options for people like me, and I presume you, who probably have a card that we can use, or have an iPhone, or we can do Apple Pay. There's still like a big need for making the app sign up flow a lot easier, because there's a lot of really good uses for that app for certain people. And so anyway, so I kind of told them about him having this nonprofit and like the work that they were doing, and they were really interested in that pain point. And it kind of turned into us doing a partner event where we invited just designers in San Diego, or UX, interested people. There's a lot of people who want to get into design at these events, and researchers. And we got together. The Ride SD people presented about our transit app, and kind of the hurdles, and like why advocacy matters, and like the differences that we can make by presenting pain points and solutions. And then we did a heuristic evaluation activity in small groups. And now we're in the process of kind of consolidating those pain points that people identified, identifying the ones that we think are like the most significant or the most important to work on, and then maybe presenting some potential solutions for those.
Mhm.
Ideally partner with Ride SD to kind of like advocate or connect with the right people that work with the city or that transit board or the local politicians to say like, hey, here's where we think you could improve this. Would
That's
love
I
to
really
see
was
it
curious
happen.
about that because, like, I mean, I've done design jams and stuff like that in the past, and hackathons, but it always kind of feels like after the event is over that the ideas just sort of dissipate. And so after doing so many of those, I sort of just told myself, just consider these like an exercise and nothing more, because like actually taking an idea from a hackathon and then making it into something is a huge amount of effort, way beyond a weekend or whatever.
Yeah. And that's definitely what we didn't want to do. We didn't want to just have this event and, get all these great people together and great minds to, identify problems and then just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did this, we thought it was really important to, okay, let's make sure we do something with this data or these pain points that we collect, that we like crowdsource from people. I mean, it was mutually beneficial. Like there are people there who networked and got to go through the experience of doing a heuristic evaluation. And then Ride SD benefits by having UX professionals kind of provide recommendations or at least identify some pains. And now I'm working with a small group of designers that kind of were excited about that event and wanted to carry forward that work to kind of refine it.
That's so cool.
Do you feel like you get a lot of satisfaction in these outside of the office type? Like kind of what draws you to do this, and how is it different from what you do at your job?
Yeah, that's a great question. I I need to be a little bit more like self-reflective on like why I do like things that I do. I guess I do get satisfaction when maybe things I don't even want to say happen like more organically, right? Like I made the choice to, for example, like get involved with you at like the UXPA conference and like submit a talk or I mean this event kind of the heuristic one with the public transit, it kind of felt like it happened a little bit more organically, like just through conversation. I think really like the most fun or like the satisfaction I've gotten from it is just the meeting different people and like getting to know different people. Like, yeah, I guess there's like some personal or professional
Yeah, skin in the
satisfaction.
game.
Yeah, like I get to, practice public speaking and I get to share ideas and I do really like that. But really the most fun thing that I've gotten to do, I think, is just work with people that I wouldn't have ever worked with before or just make new friends.
Yeah,
And I really enjoy that.
definitely.
And I think it gets harder as you get older too, right? Because it's like, it's not like a kid. I just, hey, you want to be my friend? But going to these events and meeting people is just a new way to be social and forge friendships.
Definitely. It does feel like dating a little bit. I feel like as you get older, And I went to a meetup this week actually for UX in my office, and there were 3 of us that showed up. And I was like, "Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. What's your name? Tell me all about yourself." And I was just like, wanting, like, basically clinging to them because I go in the office and sit alone, like I have to be there, but my team isn't there. So I'm just like, does anybody want to have lunch? And like I eat alone, and I basically chat with the security guards most of the time. And so just to like have any excuse to connect with somebody, I'm like, hello, let's be friends.
And I feel like we all are craving that. Oh, I don't know if we all are. I am. Sounds like you are. I think especially like post the past few years. I mean, me working from home, but just everyone, having less social interaction. I feel like we're really like craving getting out
For
there
sure.
and talking to people.
Yeah, having an excuse to just get together. So for you, like, you do your meetups and then you work remote and you have your forced fun, which sounds pretty fun actually. Do you have any special like workplace rituals or addictions or things that you do during the workday to sort of, scratch the itch somehow?
I need an example of what you mean by that. Like, what are yours?
Okay, so for example, this week I have bought and consumed more than one chocolate bar. Um, like or candy. I realized that like being back in the office exposes me to snacks and treats that I would not ordinarily keep in the house in such quantities, and I have eaten so much chocolate almost to the point of making myself sick. But it felt so good at the time. And things like lattes or heavy lunches.
Mine was LaCroix when LaCroix was free.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even finish. This is such a bad admission. I wouldn't even finish them all. And then I'd be like, oh, I want another one. And there's a cold one in the fridge versus there's like one on my desk
A
here.
half drink one.
Half warm.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's flat.
Who wants that?
Gross.
And then I when I started working from home, I bought them for myself, and I was like, okay, well, this is the price we have to pay for like rolling out of bed and not putting on, nice clothes, not having to commute. This is the price, right? And so I did that for a while, and then I just was like, you know what? Like this is getting to be quite a habit.
Yes.
It was only a habit when I started to have to pay for it myself.
Oh yeah. I think that's how a lot of people got into La Croix, was from work, because we didn't ever have it at home and we didn't like buy a lot of seltzer or anything, but I would bring them home from the office, and then my husband got addicted to them. And then I finally bought him a Soda Stream a couple years ago.
Did I tell you about the one time I recently went to the office and I had that in my mind? I was like, okay, I'm going to take like one LaCroix for the road because I was driving back from LA. And I was like making a mental note to do that before I left. And I am certain that every single other person in that office had the exact same thought, because when I walked by the fridge at the end of the day, they were gone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
The good drinks always go fast. I remember my husband talking about coconut waters. At some point when he was in the office, they would stock drinks and they would have coconut waters, and immediately it was like a signal would go off and everyone would like make a beeline for those coconut waters.
Like the Krispy Kreme donut sign when they're hot and
pretty much.
Coconut water.
Yeah. So Brianna, what is it? What's your
I was really thinking, I was like, so what? I mean, I always feel like I'm drinking a cup of tea. I don't know if that's like a workplace addiction, but kind of thinking about the office snacks like really made me reflect. And I remember at the office, we had these like wall dispensers of snacks. And one of them was peanut M&Ms. And I felt like a horse going to like a trough. Like I wouldn't bother getting like a bowl or a cup.
Me.
I would just walk up with my hand under it, like grab it and like kind of like eating it like a little squirrel in the corner.
Oh my gosh.
I love
that is
sweets.
So dangerous.
Yeah, I love sweets. And so I think coming home, I usually try not to keep a lot of sweet stuff in the house because I don't have a lot of self-control, hence me in the corner of the office eating peanut M&Ms. But I'll buy like peanut M&M-esque things. Like I'll do dark chocolate covered cranberries a lot. And I feel like every, between meetings, I'm like always running over and like they're healthy, right? Dark chocolate's healthy. It's like fruit, so it's fine. But I always run over and grab something sweet because I have a huge sweet tooth.
Yes, exactly. I did attend like a night class one time where they had unlimited peanut M&Ms through some grace of God. And it was the same thing where they weren't packaged, it was just bulk. And I would get like a bowl and fill the bowl up like I was fixing a bowl of cereal. And I would take it into the class and just crunch through the whole class. It was one of those classes like women can code too. And I went in and I was like trying to learn how to code. And I was just so stressed. And I was just eating those peanut M&Ms. I think that was my final attempt.
It's an emotional support peanut M&M.
Oh my gosh, what a mess. But they were delicious. They were delicious. I am curious, Brianna, it sounds like you have a pretty nice workplace culture. Is there any undercurrent or anything like where do you go to vent? Like if you do have something where you're like, oh my gosh, this is going on, what's your safe place?
My safe place is going back to that work bestie. And I think that's like why, us kind of moving to this company essentially together, we like talk about how it was just truly the best thing, because rather than like go to a place where you know nobody and then trying to forge those friendships where you feel comfortable with someone who has enough context about that thing that's been, causing you strife, like, and knowing that you can trust them, like that trust was already there. And so like from day one, we've just really been able to lean on each other. I don't like to vent to people outside of work about work just because they don't have the context.
They don't care.
And I just kind of, if I see someone else outside of work, I'm trying to like talk about anything but work, right? I really try to disconnect. And so, yeah, I really am a big advocate of the work bestie.
Yeah, that's a good boundary to have, honestly. I feel like a lot of work stuff, like you can get so tied up in it or so stressed out about it, but most of the time it just blows over. I think that's like a factor of age, honestly, at this point, because I'll have these like super intense conversations or I'll see stuff online that's like, oh my God, this is happening. But then I think it's not going to last. If I don't get along with somebody or the project's not going great or I don't get along with a manager or whatever it is, I just tell myself like, this is not going to last. It won't be like this forever. Something new is going to come along.
And one thing that I have told my teams in the past, if it's like just something that's stressing us out as a team, I mean, of course, now it's a little bit different that I work on health related software, but in the past I was like, it's just software, and if we're not making a life and death decision right now, like, us not finishing this feature this week is not a big deal. Like sometimes we just need to like relax and realize that like this thing, I mean, it's real in the moment, like that pain or that frustration is real. But if you can really take a breath, realize sometimes it just doesn't matter at all.
Right. Definitely. Meg, what about you? What's your safe space for venting?
I want to work bestie. And I want to get those necklaces with each half of a heart. And I want to give that to my work bestie. And I want it to like light up when I'm in trouble. So they know to come rescue me.
Send out a signal.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I think it would be awesome to have somebody where you could like look over and be like, let's leave. And then just go and escape and like have an emergency meeting or something, slip out.
Yeah.
I feel like we may have done that.
You have to have that back channel person to Slack during that meeting.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I do kind of get on Slack sometimes, but I am really careful. And I notice other people are too. Some people are less careful and they'll like name and shame. I try to avoid naming and shaming on Slack because I'm like, it's going to come back to haunt me, or I'm going to send this to the wrong person.
Oh, definitely.
Or your screen's going to be shared in a meeting.
Oh God, yes.
Something's going to pop up.
Yes. I recently saw something that was like, before you share your screen, you should close every tab because people are looking at your tabs. And I was like, fair. I definitely.
I have so many tabs open, you can't even see, you can barely see the icon in the tab, let alone what I'm looking at. So,
But
I think I'm safe.
people are looking and wondering what those icons are.
You mean they're
Wondering.
looking at like why I have 7 Etsy tabs open? Maybe they can
They're like,
recognize
oh,
that
she's
logo.
on
I'm
Etsy.
looking at mine right now.
I know
They're-
what those logos mean. I've seen people who are like job hunting and I see the tabs.
Wow, I've never seen that. They'll see
Oh.
me Googling the definition of like very common words that I'm like double checking that I'm using correctly.
Yeah, or me
Absolutely.
looking up like an acronym. Like one of mine is when somebody will use an acronym that I'm not familiar with at my job, I panic because I'm like, is this an internal thing that is so obscure that like I'm totally fine not knowing and it was a dick move to have used the acronym in front of me?
No.
Or is this such a common like acronym in the industry and I have wildly missed something? And I'm like, I'm like furiously Google searching to see which one it is to know like which feeling I should have about that situation. So
I feel like I should
I know
make up an
that.
acronym this week and throw it in the mix and just
And
see if
see if
anybody
any-
flinches or takes the bait.
Someday I do want to do the thing where it's like, if you've read this entire important email that I've sent, like send me the secret code word and I'll know that you've read it. I've always wanted to do
I
that.
love those Easter eggs. I love those.
Yeah. It sounds like, or it looks like we have time for maybe about one last juicy question here.
Well, I guess Brianna, like you're working from home, it's paradise, you're in San Diego, it's all good. Um, you know, once in a while I'll say this, I've gotten caught off guard during a work call and let's say something wild is going down in my household or I've got to take an urgent bathroom break and this call needs to be over right now. Has anything weird or wild happened to you while on a video call?
Weird or wild? I'm trying to think. So I work, we live in a 2-bedroom apartment and I let my boyfriend have the second bedroom as like the guest bedroom / office because like I mentioned, I snack a lot. So I'm going to be walking
You're like,
out
I need to
in the
be in
kitchen. So I work kind of in the living room kind of kitchen. It's just one big room. And we have these really lovely pocket doors, I guess you would call them, where you kind of slide them open. You kind of have like an indoor outdoor space with the patio. I've had birds fly into my house during like meetings and like not really knowing how to react to that because I'm like, oh, I want like the air, I want the airflow. But then the birds will see a house plant just fly in.
Oh my gosh.
That's definitely caught me off guard. And there's not really a good succinct way to like try to tell someone like, oh, hold on, there's a bird in my home.
Hold up just a second. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Has the bird like made its way back out or did you have to take matters into your own hands?
Well, most times they fly out because I have the doors open. Thank God this didn't happen in a meeting, but one time I think I had the doors half open. Bird flew in. Bird is okay. I'll say that at first, but bird flew into the glass. And
no.
I didn't know what to do. I had to Google it, but you just let the bird sit. They're
Oh, it was
stunned.
stunned.
It took like, I don't know, at least 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more of it just sitting in my house, like me just kind of coexisting with this bird.
Oh my
I'm very
gosh.
fortunate that one didn't happen during a meeting. But yeah, there's a lot of wildlife going on in my very urban area. I live in a very like urban part of San Diego, but we got nature. It's California.
Hey, bird strike. It happens.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, Meg, what about you? Any weird, wild video calls from hell?
I mean, just my cat. You guys saw my cat earlier come
Yeah.
straight up to the webcam and be just like he thinks whenever I talk, he thinks he needs to be part of the meeting. So I'll be working, like let's say I have a couple, on a great day, a couple hours to like be doing some focused work. And then and he's, not bothering me at all. And the minute I start talking, he will come up and just squarely get in my face or in the face of the people that I'm talking to, and just be a real pain. Also, I have had the situation where he's typed and sent messages like in Slack.
Oh no.
And I recently had that. This wasn't work related, but I recently had that with my kid. And like, I'm just like, I'm floored that like he can already figure out how to press enough buttons to send.
Oh yeah.
So I cannot leave my work
Absolutely.
computer.
Yes.
Well, you always never should, or you should never leave your work computer around anybody that is not you, according to company policy, of course. But really shouldn't do it around a toddler.
Let me tell you a story about that, because I used to be a proofreader at this junk mail place like long ago. It was one of my first graphic design jobs. And they had something where somebody had gotten up to like go to the bathroom and they'd left their computer unlocked. And somebody went in and like typed in a bunch of, I don't know what it was, nonsense into the design. And it got printed and shipped and mailed out across the United States. And I don't think it was I think it was kind of rude, whatever it was. I don't think it was kosher. And they both got fired. So
I was about to ask who's at fault there. I mean,
yeah,
both, but also like who, I don't know.
Yeah,
You shouldn't leave it unlocked, but you also shouldn't ruin sign materials.
He was thinking like, this guy's proofreading, right? He's gonna catch it and then he'll,
it was like a joke,
send it back. Yeah. So he was thinking, he'll see it on his desk, but then he didn't.
Yeah. And this is a great reminder to the UX folks out there. Don't write funny content in your mocks. You do not know where that might end up.
Oh, how funny are we talking?
Like, I think you should put my personal like principle is you write as best of content you can. That helps out your editors, your writers, and it makes it so like if something did go out, it's at least close to something normal.
Right.
I am not a Lorem Ipsum. Everybody's on different sides of this, whatever. I appreciate all people, but my personal opinion is that that's not good and don't do it.
Someone somewhere, I'm sure, has shipped Lorem Ipsum.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Absolutely.
They're
absolutely.
Like, what's this term?
I think the interesting thing that I feel like I'm seeing more now on like websites just generally is like AI generated content that's like clearly like not written by a human, like product reviews and stuff like this. And like one I saw
product
recently,
reviews, what a garbage can.
Yeah. One I saw recently was like the error message that the AI generated, like it was like we don't have enough information to generate this text, and that was the the review.
I don't know. I actually kind of think chatbots could probably write better error messages than some of the ones that I've seen. So
yeah, but it was its own it was its own error message that was ended up being out there. Well, Brianna, it was lovely to chat with you. Lovely to have you on our call today.
Yes.
We're so grateful for sharing your time and your fun stories with us.
It was so fun to hang out.
Hey, thanks, Brianna. All right, folks, if you need any advice or just sympathy for your UX career, please write to us at survivingux@gmail.com. Bye-bye.
Surviving UX is hosted and edited by Jessamyn Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is, among other things, the on-hold music for Cisco Phones, Opus No. 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. The wheels on the bus may go round and round, but today we learned that the app for the bus goes click, 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 click.